Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another video. It's your fellow Skeptic, and we are reacting to another one of baseball videos. I just finished reacting to the greatest home run robberies. I think probably that was the best catches video I have seen so far. And one of the main reasons I was impressed by that is you never get to see those kind of catches in cricket. You don't have a fence like that, and there's no specific rule that if it goes past the boundary, you cannot catch the ball and get the batter out, which is the case in cricket. Every catch, one after the other, they were just blowing up my mind. I don't know, man. Like the way they throw themselves into the fence and without thinking about their bodies, getting the right placement of the ball, the athleticism, climbing walls, like anything, that was insane. And I'm now reacting to how to identify baseball pitches video. This had like 1.3 million views. I'm gonna assume it is good because based on the number of views. It's not the MLB one. Maybe I'll check that one out if I don't get enough intel from this. I am very curious about baseball pitches and very intrigued by this because in case of cricket, there are different kinds of balls. There is spins, swings, and pace, full toes, a lot of things. Basically, there are two varieties. One is pace and the other one is spin. Pace refers to the speedy balls, like it's gonna go at like 100 miles per hour, and spin are the ones that is going to not have that much speed, but it's rather going to turn when it's going to hit the ground. Hitting the ground is a very important part of a ball in cricket. There are something called swings, which is speedy and it changes the direction. It is going to curve a little bit and all. I never thought something like that was there in baseball until I saw an episode of this web series called Psych, when they talk about different kinds of pitches. Two words that I remember was curveball and slider, and I'm assuming that it has got something to do with curving the ball, or based on the term or the way they change its direction. And in case of cricket, you can throw a ball without hitting the ground. It's called as a full toss, but generally it doesn't curve or anything, so it's like really easy for the batsman to hit. But in case of baseball, and they have to completely rely on this ball without not hitting the ground, so I think a lot of things happen on these curve balls and sliders, and I have no idea how they manage to curve the ball like that, because I'm gonna assume it's nearly as heavy as a cricket ball. The baseball, my mind cannot wrap my idea around curving the ball in such a short distance before it gets the batsman. I have no idea how the batter hits the ball in that short span of time. It is going to curve like that. So completely confused. I have no idea of what this is. Just gonna get into it. I just have an idea of a couple of terms, which is curveball and slider. With that, I'm just gonna get into it. Don't judge me.
Identifying pitches.
Hey, if you've ever watched a Major League Baseball game, you probably know how difficult it can be to.
Okay, so I'm assuming that's the speed that they're showing. 90
Have you ever
miles per
watched
hour?
a Major League
87.
Identifying pitches.
So,
Hey.
okay, is that a swing? As long as the batter swings, then it will be considered as a, what do you call that? I think it's a ball, right? And three of them will lead to strike.
a Major League Baseball game, you probably know
nice.
how difficult it can be to identify the different types of pitches.
In the last video I watched, one guy threw from like underneath.
You identify the pitches that you might be seeing.
It is curving. It's curving a lot.
In general,
I have no idea how they make it. It just went up and down. And
of each pitch. Number two, the movement
Oh, wow.
of each pitch. And number three, and this is kind of a bonus, the pitch arsenal of each individual pitcher. If you go to Baseball Savant, you can look up the various pitches that each pitcher throws. For example, if you know that a pitcher throws a curveball, a four-seam fastball, and a
what?
changeup, that narrows it down for you pretty nicely. All right, let's get started.
Fastballs.
The fastball is the basic pitch of Major League Baseball, and it's the type of pitch that you're going to see the most. There are three basic categories of fastballs, and most Major League pitchers use one of these types of fastballs as their primary pitch.
Four-seam fastball.
The four-seam fastball is the most common pitch in Major League Baseball. It's also the easiest
How do they turn the ball like that? How is that possible? How does physics work, man? I don't get
to
it.
identify, because from the angle of most TV broadcasts, a four-seam fastball appears to travel in a straight line with no vertical drop whatsoever. This straight and level movement is a result of the high amount of backspin placed on the ball.
Oh, it shouldn't travel straight. It should travel like a projectile. Okay, because of the backspin, it travels straight. I played table tennis, so I can relate a little bit. So when you put backspin on the ball, okay, if you have topspin on the ball, it makes sense. Yeah, it'll go down. If you have backspin on the ball, it'll stay. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, table tennis.
If you see a pitch that's traveling this straight at 90 plus miles an hour, you're probably
Oh yeah. It's completely horizontal, isn't it? It doesn't even get that dip or anything. It's like a fucking bullet. That's really cool. So if you put I'm assuming it's a wrist movement, right? Has to be.
looking at a four-seam fastball. Some four-seam fastballs actually appear to travel upwards as they approach the plate,
Upwards. Gosh.
and this is called a rising fastball. Despite the way it looks on TV, this upward movement is just an illusion.
Sinker or two.
Wait, it's an illusion. What do you mean illusion?
This upward movement is just an illusion.
So I'm assuming he did not throw the ball up because of the batsman. It is going to catch air and go up. Wow.
Sinker
That's
or two-seam
nuts.
fastball.
That's ridiculous.
Ball or sinker has movement as it approaches the plate. This movement is usually downward and or towards the pitcher's
So they put topspin on the ball,
glove. If you see a pitch
or are you gonna not give any spin? It's a direct projectile motion.
drops or appears to run or twist,
86 miles per hour. Wow.
you're probably looking at a two-seam fastball. The terminology can get a little bit confusing at first because people call this same type of pitch by two different names. The most common practice is to call it a two-seamer if it arrives up in the zone or if it runs laterally without much downward movement, reserving the term sinker for a two-seamer that drops or that arrives low in the zone. But it's also fairly common to use these terms interchangeably or to just use one term. For example, StatCast will call this pitch a sinker every time, even if it arrives up in the zone.
Oh, so if it goes down after it is being thrown, then it's basically sinker. That's all I have to know if I'm a cutter.
The cutter is the least common fastball in Major League Baseball. By definition,
Cutter.
Least common fastball. Okay.
common fastball in Major League Baseball. By definition, the cutter is characterized by late and sharp movement towards the pitcher's glove
That's like a sinker, right? What's the difference from the sinker?
side. So the opposite direction.
Glove side. Okay. To the whose glove
Late
side?
and sharp movement towards the pitcher's glove side.
Pitcher's glove side. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Pitcher's glove side. That's the person who throws the ball. I'm assuming it's a batter's glove side.
So the opposite direction of a sinker. In practice, however, a cutter can also glove side. So the opposite direction of a sinker. In practice, however, a cutter can also drop or break hard towards the glove side like a slider. The unpredictability of the cutter can
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
side.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah. His pitcher's glove side. Okay.
Like a slider. The unpredictability of the cutter can make it break hard towards the glove side like a slider. The unpredictability of the cutter can make it one of the hardest pitches to identify outright. And in fact, it's not unheard of for Major League broadcast crews to disagree about whether a
So it travels sideways basically. So it's side spin as of table tennis. So in table tennis, we have four kinds of spins: top spin, back spin, side spin, and reverse side spin. In most of the professional serves, what we use is a combination of side spin along with some other top spin or back spin. I think it's basically, cutter is basically a combination of side spin with back spin or top spin. So he said that it can sink like a sinker. So I think side spin is a combination of, cutter is a combination of sideways movement and a little bit of up or down downward
thrown a
movement.
cutter or another type of pitch, most commonly a slider.
This looks like a slider, actually. Just a crisp.
Wait, slider?
Commonly a
Wait,
slider. Pitcher has-
what is slider?
It's not unheard of for Major League broadcast crews to disagree about whether a pitcher has just thrown a cutter or another type of pitch, most commonly a slider.
This looks like a slider, actually. Just a crisp, hard slider, a little break to it. Cutter, they're calling it.
The good news is that pitchers who throw a good cutter at the major league level tend to use this pitch quite a bit. So knowing that a pitcher throws a cutter is your first step in identifying what that pitcher's cutter looks like.
Breaking balls.
Oh, wow. What? I thought this was a joke. Okay, they're being serious. Alright, I'm sorry.
Breaking balls are pitches thrown with significant top or side spin that causes the ball to change direction as it approaches the plate. This change in direction
Oh, wow. That's the name of the pitch. And it's so impressive, actually. There's so many kind of spins.
spin that causes the
Confusing.
ball to change direction as it approaches the plate. This change in direction
I mean, what's the difference from the sinker, though? It's all going down, isn't it? It's either a sinker or a... What is the first one? God, what is the first one? Four-seam fastball.
is called break. There are two basic types of breaking balls.
Curveball.
The curveball is generally the slower of the two breaking balls. The archetypal
Oh yeah, this is not a fastball. Okay, so I think we are off the fastball arena. Okay, that makes sense. Velocity 60 to 80 miles per hour. Interesting. So I think they primarily rely on the curve of the ball rather than relying on the speed of the ball in these breaking. I mean the non-fast balls. I'm assuming there might be more categories, so I'm gonna say non-fast
Well,
balls.
12 to 6 curveball gets its name from the fact that it breaks downwards, as if it's traveling from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. But a curveball can also travel towards the pitcher's glove side or come in straight and then bottom out. The curveball is
Oh.
almost
So it kind of makes it kind of fools the batter into thinking that this might be a correct ball, and he swings it and it does not go into that rectangle, and he misses it. So, yeah,
always the
cool.
slowest pitch that
That's
pitcher
a
throws.
mind game.
So if you're looking at a pitch that's traveling anywhere from 60 to 80 miles an hour with a looping or dropping motion, it's probably
That's a curveball. Got it.
Slider.
I wanted that.
a slider is a
Slider.
breaking ball that breaks diagonally towards the pitcher's glove hand side. Sliders are generally thrown faster and with a tighter break than curveballs. As you watch these sliders, you might be noticing that some of them are bearing a resemblance to curveballs, and others are bearing a resemblance to cutters. This is a good time to say that these pitches all more or less exist on a continuum. And people sometimes use terms like slurve to describe pitches that don't quite fit into one of these categories. In any case, if you're talking about a slider or a slurve or a curveball,
I'm having a hard time categorizing these pitches because some of them are similar. I'm just gonna go along with it
talking about
for now.
breaking
I'm gonna rewatch it later.
if you just call one of these pitches a breaking ball, you're never going to.
It's really fast though. The time difference between
Speed pitches.
While the term off-speed pitch
there is more. How many different ways can you curve a ball, or like two pitches?
technically refers to any pitch that's not a fastball, in practice, the term off-speed pitch is usually reserved for pitches that mimic fastballs but that come in at a lower velocity. There are two types of off-speed pitches that you will
Oh,
commonly see.
okay.
Changeup.
All
A
right.
changeup is a pitch that's disguised to look like a fastball, but arrives about 8 to 15 miles an hour slower. To my eye, most changeups look like sinkers, but again, they arrive 8 to 15 miles an hour slower than that pitcher's fastball. Let's take a look at a couple examples. Here is John Means throwing a fastball at 95, and then here is the changeup. When we slow this down, we see this is just a standard four-seam fastball, 95, and the changeup looks like it could be a sinker, but arrives 11 miles an hour slower than the
Wow. You're playing mind games over here. So he's preparing the batter to accept a fastball and he just change it up
fastball.
so that he cannot receive it as expected.
Fastball 96, and then the changeup arrives at 85.
Nice.
When we slow this down, we see it's a standard four-seamer again.
But why didn't he swing though?
Changeup, same
Maybe
delivery.
he thought it was going outside.
Could be a fastball, but it arrives at 85. The changeup is designed to be deceptive, and even professional broadcasters can get it wrong.
One. Fastball. Taken low. Two fastballs. I think that was a bull. Two fastballs. I think that was a change.
Think it was a change?
Yep. 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, he throws harder than that.
This is a pitch that becomes much easier to identify once you start paying attention to the pitch velocities that are displayed on screen.
Splitter.
The splitter is an off-speed pitch that is thrown like the fastball, but that has a significant and late downward break. This diving movement
Okay, now you're losing me now.
is a result of the low
Similar to some of the other categories previously mentioned, right? Ah, man. Okay.
spin rate placed on splitters, which pitchers achieve by using a split finger grip that gives this pitch its name. It's easy to see a splitter and at first think that it might be another type of pitch that has some significant downward movement, like a curveball or a sinker. But once you start paying attention to the velocity of each pitch, you should be able to pick out the splitters. Here is Shohei Ohtani throwing a curveball at 79 and a splitter at 88. When we slow these down, we can see that the curveball has kind of a tumbling action to it, whereas the splitter comes in looking like it might be a fastball and then just drops. The splitter is ultimately not a very common pitch, so knowing that a pitcher has a splitter in their arsenal
It's like very similar to the sinker and the curveball, right? But sinker, I think it's a little more speedier. Curveball is a little more slower, but
is a good first.
yeah, when it comes to professionals, I think they can really categorize it. But for my
Pitches.
new buys,
Fastballs,
I'm not able to
breaking
catch the difference that
balls,
much.
pitches that we've seen so far constitute the vast majority of pitches that you'll see when watching Major League Baseball. There are a few other types of pitches that you might see, and we'll go through them pretty quickly.
Ephus.
Other
What?
types of pitches that you might see, and we'll go through them pretty quickly.
Ephus.
An ephus pitch is an incredibly slow and high
Wait, what? That's a real thing? Okay, I have never seen that before. You can do that?
arcing breaking ball, if you want to call it that.
Huh.
Forkball.
Breaking
An
ball.
high arcing breaking ball, if you want to call it that.
Breaking ball, okay, it's supposed to be that slow. It isn't, right?
Forkball.
The forkball is like an extreme splitter, and these will often land in the dirt or touching home plate.
But that's a foul, right? I think it's just meant to, make the batter swing.
Screwball.
A screwball is a breaking ball that breaks like a mirror image of a slider, so towards the pitcher's arm side. It's been years since one has been thrown at the major league level.
Knuckleball.
Okay,
And
there's no-
finally, there's the knuckleball, which is an unpredictable and floaty pitch that's thrown with almost no spin whatsoever.
Huh.
So that covers pretty much every pitch you're going to see when you watch
One or
Major League
two.
Baseball.
Wow.
If you know that you're going to be watching a baseball game and you want to get better at identifying pitches, the best thing you can do is go to Baseball Savant and search for the starting pitchers for that game. See what they pitch so that you are prepared and you know what's coming. Beyond that, just keep paying attention to how the pitches move and the velocity of the pitches that you see on TV, and it won't be long before you are identifying pitches.
Like traveling straight like that is deceiving my eyes actually. Like putting that much backspin. How do you actually put the backspin? Like even if you throw the ball in a wrist motion, right? So I'm thinking in cricket, so there's leg spin and off spin. If you hold your ball like this and release it like this, you can produce a good amount of backspin. I think you call it off spin in cricket. Is it off spin? I think it's off spin. Yeah, you can put a good amount of off spin. You release it like this. I think they're using some kind of wrist movement to achieve that. But even if you get something like that, right? If you put a good amount of spin like that by using the wrist movement, I don't think it can travel in a straight line. Like my mind cannot wrap the idea around something like that for some reason. How do you make it travel like that? Given the fact that baseball is gonna kind of significantly heavy, right? It's not like a very light ball. If it was pretty light, then it would make sense. What?
Pretty well. Real quick before we wrap up, it should be made clear that each example that was shown in this video is a well-executed.
So much curve, man. So much curve.
And in order to show the full movement of each pitch type, I only included
wow.
videos where the batter did not make contact with the ball. In reality, not every pitch that you see in a Major League Baseball game is going to be this pretty or is going to conform this well to the definition of each pitch type. Breaking balls
I suspected that much.
might not break. This is called a hanging breaking ball, and they happen all the time. Hanging breaking balls are usually hit for power, so you don't want them. Pitchers will misfire on their fastball. And pitchers are always changing up the velocity, movement, and location of their pitches in order to keep batters guessing. So even the same type of pitch from the same pitcher can and will look different from pitch to pitch. So give yourself some time, and if you want to identify pitches by just seeing them on TV, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get there within a couple weeks if you just keep at it. Feel free to come back to this video anytime you want for reference.
I will. I sure will.
Pitcher, in which case you're on want for reference. Unless it's a submariner style pitcher, in which case you're
A
on your
what
own.
style pitcher?
Identifying pitches.
Oh God. Okay. So much information, man. That's so much information. Why did I think this was going to be an easy video to watch? Okay, this is my thought. There's not a lot you could potentially do by throwing a ball into the air like that. I never thought you could curve it that much. I do play a little bit of table tennis, and that's why I'm not like blown away, because I know you can curve the ball by hitting the bat on the ball like that, and the ping pong ball curves in different directions, and I do that. But doing that with a baseball, do you call baseball ball? I don't know. It's two balls. That itself was like an idea that I was not able to conceive, because it kind of defies the laws of physics for some reason. In cricket, you do see a couple of those, but it's very rare to see a curving ball that is completely in the air. When it hits the ground, it makes sense because you can put a spin on it, and because of that, it turns around. But in the air, it's insane. So many different kinds of spins. So basically, all the spins in table tennis, it's there. There's like way more than that. And okay, my favorite was the EFS one. I don't know why, but that's very impressive. Having a ball like that, and when you throw a ball like that, I think it's very easy for the batter to hit, right? And that's why people don't use it that often. And you have to make sure it goes into the rectangle, right? That's going to be very difficult, I'm assuming, with a ball like that. The knuckleball, that was pretty interesting. Breaking balls, I never thought that would be the name of a ball. I don't know who named that. I'm pretty sure they're having a laugh. I'm pretty sure most people like the four-seam fastballs. I like it too. It's very, very fast and aggressive. But I like more of the strategic ones. Curveballs. I think that's more up my alley. Curveballs. It's curving a lot. It curves a lot. I think basically you cannot rely that much on speed when it comes to a curveball, because if you don't curve that much, the batter is going to judge the ball really well, and you're going to be probably get a home run or something. So I like curveballs a lot. I like EFS. Slider, I did not completely understand the difference from like some of the fastballs and all. Maybe I'll probably have to rewatch the video to completely understand the difference between some of them. And for a newbie's naked eye, I was not able to completely identify the difference between some of the pitches that he mentioned from the earlier part, because kind of like seem similar to me. A lot of them seemed like sinkers to me. They had like different categorical names based on the style in which they are being thrown at, or like based on the small variations which I couldn't catch. Maybe if I watched some games or something, if I was used to the sport a little more, I could have been able to get the different kind of pitches. But boy, there are so many things that you could do with the ball. The primary reason why I'm blown away this much is not just because how many variants you have in a sport like this, but because how many ways you can manipulate a object of that much weight by the movement of your wrist like that from one point to another. That's insane, man. I didn't think that it was like physically possible. I didn't think that gravity would allow it. I thought some of these balls are defying Newton's laws. Yeah, I really like the first one. Four-seam fastball that goes straight because of the backspin on the ball. I have no idea how they put that much backspin on the ball. Do they use the wrist movements? But even if they use the wrist movements, how do they put that much backspin? That's insane. I'm gonna go and try throwing my cricket ball like that. It's not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna try and watch a tutorial and see if I can throw a baseball. I think I can buy a baseball and try that out to see if I can cover the ball. That's very interesting. I'm gonna try that out. I learned a lot actually. There's like one another video of MLB. If you have seen that MLB based different types of baseball pitches video, and if you want me to check it out, if there's something different I could potentially learn from it, I'll check it out. And the reason why I checked this one out is because it had more views. It is from like a channel which is not that popular, so I thought that this video would be really good. And I'll probably not get copyright from this one. The other one I'll probably get copyright because it's MLB's video. Cannot do much about it. I'm still trying to wrap my idea around the idea of curving these balls. So yes, I'm gonna dwell on that a little bit and probably buy a baseball and try that out myself. I've been really enjoying these kind of baseball videos. If there's any other video that you wouldn't want me to check it out, let me know down in the comment section below. I'll definitely take a look. If you do like these kind of reactions, hit the thumbs up button and let YouTube know you like what you're watching. And I'll see you guys next video. Good night. Goodbye.